Just as I was taking that last picture of her, I knew I was having a heart attack. My name is Claus Andersen, and I've been photographing sports for close to 40 years, including 9 Olympic Games for Athletics Canada. LA 84, Seoul, Korea 88, Barcelona 92, Atlanta 96, Sydney 2000, Athens, Greece 2004, Beijing 2008, 2012 was London. You're competing as well. You're competing with other photographers, even though you may not think you are. We all are. We're all competing to get a good image. You have at least 500 photographers and upwards of 1,000 at the Olympics. There are a couple of times I remember sleeping overnight in my spot to save my spot for the final one day later. I can remember the Seoul 100. The semifinal was over at 5:30 and the final wasn't until the next late afternoon. Basically, would be stuck in our spots for 24 hours, and that's where you stayed until the next night. You had to be right there. I pride myself in being a good team member, and I try to get the best images I can for our national team. There's one right over my shoulder here that I'm quite proud of. This one here was from the world record relay in Atlanta 20 years ago, and these were our 2 biggest stars. To see the pleasure that they derive out of seeing my imagery of them compete, that makes it all worthwhile for me. As a little kid, I always had posters in my bedroom of great athletes that I liked, and I always thought, man, I want to do that for a living. I've been doing this for almost 40 years, and yet I still want to think that there's lots of time left. You have to be blessed with good health, I think. That's now, as I find out, that's the most important thing is that you have to have. It was Portland World Indoor Championships, the second evening of competition. Theisen-Eaton had just won the pentathlon, and she was coming around the track with the flag and her roses, and she looked up at me, and I had started to feel not so good about 10-15 minutes prior to that, and just as I was taking that last picture of her, I knew I was having a heart attack. I just knew. Just when people say, how do you know? Trust me, you know. As I took that last picture and stepped away to the media room, I collapsed, and my friend of mine grabbed the paramedics, and sure enough, I was having a heart attack, and I was rushed to the hospital at that time. And consequently, the next day after this occurred, Brianne actually sent this the flag that was in the photograph of my last picture to the hospital. It said, "Get well soon." So, which was amazing. To be able to be trackside and be right tight to the atmosphere of the athletes is simply exhilarating for us as well. We have an adrenaline rush just like an athlete does prior to an event starting, and anticipating that moment that you're trying to cover. There's always that excitement in the air, and I think the minute you lose that, that's probably the time you should retire.